Today we are making peanut butter sourdough cornbread that's both vegan and gluten-free. So you see me here starting off with 180 grams of peanut butter. I'm scooping it out because it's a little sticky, so it's getting stuck to the bowl. And then I'm going to add 60 grams of coconut sugar, and I'm going to mix it up until it forms a sticky dough ball, almost like cookie dough a little bit. If you don't have coconut sugar, you can use brown sugar. I like to use coconut sugar because it just has a really strong molasses taste, and I just buy it in bulk and it's not too expensive. But if you only have brown sugar, just use brown sugar, it'll taste the same. Now, once everything is mixed thoroughly, you're going to add your sourdough starter. I'm using a sourdough starter made with buckwheat flour. If you're not concerned about this being gluten-free, you can add a regular old sourdough starter. But if you would like a gluten-free sourdough starter, you could go to my website, jerseygirlbreadshop.com, and I have instructions on how to make both a sourdough starter with rye flour and a gluten-free one with buckwheat flour. Now you're going to add either water or plant milk. You can see here that I'm adding water. Either will work. There's enough fat in the recipe, fat and protein in the recipe from the peanut butter. So water works just fine. But if you want, you can sub in plant milk. It's 350 grams of water or plant milk that I'm adding into here. And now you're just going to mix it until it's very smooth. You don't want there to be any lumps at this stage. So just keep going until it's very smooth. Now we're going to add our dry ingredients. So for our dry ingredients, we have 150 grams of cornmeal, 65 grams of buckwheat flour, 6 grams of baking powder, 1 gram or a quarter teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon or 5 grams of mild red chili flakes. I use gochugaru, which is a Korean red chili flake. If you're going to use something really spicy like cayenne, just use a pinch because then it will be too spicy. And if you don't like spicy at all, just omit the chili flakes. It'll still taste delicious. But those are our dry ingredients. If you don't care about this being gluten-free, you can sub the buckwheat flour with whole wheat flour. That's actually the first way I made it. But actually, I like the buckwheat one even more. So go with the buckwheat if you have buckwheat, but if you do not have buckwheat and you don't want to buy buckwheat and you don't care if this is gluten-free, you can use whole wheat flour. And then you're just going to mix this until it's smooth. Since it's gluten-free, at least the one I'm making without whole wheat is gluten-free, you don't have to worry about over-mixing it, so just keep going until it's completely smooth. Then you're going to pour your batter into your preheated 9-inch cast iron pan. I preheated the oven before I even started to 375 and put the cast iron pan into the oven. You can line it with parchment paper, but I have found in my many renditions of this recipe that that's not necessary. Scrape down the sides of your bowl, get all the batter out. You don't want anything to go to waste. And then you can smooth out the top of your soon-to-be cornbread before putting on the topping. Now the topping I already made previously. So the topping is 100 grams of peanuts, 20 grams turbinado sugar, and 5 grams of red chili flakes. Now, how I made the topping was I ground up the peanuts in a nut grinder, but you can also just chop them up finely. And then I mixed in the sugar and the red chili flakes. Now, the reason why I use turbinado sugar, it's a sugar that's kind of flaky. It doesn't melt, so it still stays crunchy when it's baked. So any kind of topping sugar that stays crunchy, like a coarse sugar, will work here. You can even use brown sugar, but it won't have the same texture, but it'll still be delicious. Then you're going to lower the oven heat to 350 and place this back in your oven for 30 minutes. If you're using a different size pan, just be aware it'll still work, but it might need a longer cooking time if the pan is smaller. But it'll still work. But for this size pan, you want it in there at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes. And now it's ready, but before you slice into it, wait 15 minutes for it to cool so the slices stay together. If you cut into it right away, go for it. It'll still taste good, but the slices will crumble. If you want the slices to hold together, just wait 15 minutes before slicing into it. And as you can see, it's very soft and it has this wonderful cornbread texture. And it also tastes like spicy peanut butter. So in my book, it's a 10 out of 10. If you want the whole recipe, go to my blog, jerseygirlbreadshop.com, so you can follow the written recipe while you're making it. Let me know how it comes out. And thank you for watching. See you next time.